Hello. I'm going to wait a minute because it always takes a minute to kick in. Hello. Welcome to 30-Minute Mindfulness. So this morning I was getting ready for this and I was down here in my office and I'm in my pajamas and I'm setting things up and I went to go live manually. So it actually went live. So my link that I had put in yesterday to schedule this live broadcast already went live, and so anyway, I deleted that, so I had to start over. So here we are. Welcome to 30-Minute Mindfulness. Today I thought we would talk about finding peace amidst the chaos and fear. The times we're living in seem to be stoked by the fires of fear and outrage around every corner. Every time we turn on the news or look at social media, we see these images of violence and death and senseless death. And this violence and this death is too high a price. With every death, we push our dignity and our humanity further away. We're better than this. This is not a fight for our African American brothers and sisters. This is a human fight. We are human. Our race is human. This hate and violence against humanity, it's against the human right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Violence and fear extinguishes freedom. So how do we find justice and equality through the pain of these grave losses and horrific acts of cruelty and harm? How do we find hope for freedom and safety? How do we find peace amidst this chaos? So Dr. Martin Luther King inspired social change through nonviolence, and his teachings reflect this brilliant enthusiasm for hope. Dr. King understands the connection of humanity and that suffering for one is suffering for all. Dr. King says, we are caught in this inescapable network of mutuality, tied to a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. So violence anywhere creates oppression everywhere. Violence fosters suffering and fear. It instills a false sense of superiority in the minds of the oppressor and this false sense of inferiority in the mind of the oppressed. And then when we retaliate with violence, we only feed that cycle of evil. So King teaches us, if one is in search for a better job, it doesn't help to burn the factory. If one needs more adequate education, shooting the principal will not help. Or if housing is the goal, only building and construction will produce that end. To destroy anything, person or property, can't bring us closer to the goal that we seek. And then King goes on to say that the basics to the philosophy of nonviolence is the refusal to cooperate with evil. We refuse to cooperate with evil. Evil are the people who seem to be dropping off truckloads of bricks in these cities that are rioting. Whoever is stoking the fires of difference, prejudice, and inequality is participating in evil. Whoever retaliates with violence feeds this beast of evil. Those who seek change, those of us who seek change, must see past the illusion of revenge. There's no lasting peace that can come from retaliation. King profoundly states, the reason I can't follow the old eye for an eye philosophy is that it ends up leaving everybody blind. Someone has to get off the carousel in order to stop it from spinning around. At the peak of humanitarianism, we see compassion and unity blossom into exquisite garden that makes us proud to be human. We see beauty at the height of our human connection. And it's time for us to water those plants of compassion and unity so that we can create seasons that blossom with compassion and unity rather than just moments. Nonviolence demands that the persecuted take a higher road by addressing the injustice with thinking that is different from the violent, repressive thinking that created the struggle. To fight injustice, we need to think from a different state of mind than the fear and rage that created it. King states, man's inhumanity to man is not only perpetuated by the corrosive actions of those who are bad, it is also perpetuated by the devastating inaction of those who are good. Perpetuated by inaction. This is a human problem. It is time for all of us to work together to create a solution. If African Americans are not safe, humanity is not safe. If any sector is not safe, humanity is not safe. We must come together as humanity, as one race, and refuse to cooperate with evil. We can't passively wait for the government to do something different, nor can we wait for the media to stop selling us their agenda and fear by the truckload. Outcomes change when the inner state of people changes. When we each become more conscious and more whole, we change the world. As Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. This isn't a fight for the Black community. This is a stand for humanity. We the people, all of us, stand up for human justice. Jack Kornfield describes, as individuals, we have to start with the reality of our own suffering. As a society, we have to start with the reality of the collective suffering, injustice, racism, greed, and hate. We can only transform the world as we learn to transform ourselves. One must see clearly in order to transform. If we are caught by illusion, we will work towards a false promise of change. It is difficult to see a different way of being when we're caught by an illusion. Before the civil rights movement, it was difficult for many to see that segregation had no place in our world or in our government. It is still difficult for some to see that prejudice thinking is a fragmented state of lower consciousness. It seems today our civil unrest is fueled by a privileged minority with a gravely dark agenda. The power for change is our unity, our togetherness, as we the people together seek change for all of humanity. It will be difficult right now for many to believe that peace is possible. Peace is a different way of seeing. It takes openness, vulnerability, courage, and willingness. It takes higher consciousness. And it will take heroes to bring that consciousness into view. And these heroes are everyday people like you and me, choosing to find inner peace, to create more self-awareness, and to examine wholeheartedly our own lives and motivations. As these skills become the norm, we will have done something to move our world toward peace. As we become more unified, we protect all of humanity as our own. Human life is a gift. There is no being who is better or worse than another. We learn to honor the gift of humanity. As we learn to honor the gift of humanity, these decisions about how to handle injustice and disagreement and conflict will be solved with more effective tools. Dr. Martin Luther King was the voice, but it was the entire African American community who changed the consciousness of the United States. I wish Dr. King were here today. I wish he could get up and lead us to the next level of unity, to that next level of understanding. It is not our color that separates us. That is an illusion. Dr. Martin Luther King is still the voice pushing us towards equality, freedom, and peace. As descendants of Dr. King and his movement, not African American descendants or white descendants or any other descendants, simply as human descendants, we owe a debt of gratitude to King and to those who walk beside him, because we're better human beings because of their courage to help humanity see a more effective way of living with human dignity. We see more clearly when it comes to equality, yet there are still many areas where collectively humanity falls short to provide human dignity to all who live. And we're feeling that heartbreaking reality right now. We're seeing it clearly. It is time to continue Dr. King's movement toward wholeheartedness, toward peace, toward equality. Dr. King says, world peace through nonviolent means is neither absurd nor unobtainable. Our inner state is a reflection of our outer. As we tend the garden inside, as each of us tends our own garden inside, we begin to see the rose garden in front of us. We begin to see that we bring peace. We bring forth peace. So with that invitation, I invite you to sit with me for about 20 minutes as we cultivate that sense of inner peace in ourselves. So please find a posture that's comfortable, that's upright, something that's alert but not rigid. And just allow yourself to be still. And find the rhythm of your breath, that natural in and out. And remember that mindfulness is not the elimination of our thoughts. It's simply an awareness of those thoughts or feelings or emotions. And when we're aware of them, we just come back to the breath in that moment. That breath is just a home base. It's just that present moment. And in that present moment, we don't experience the fear or the anxiety. The present moment is where we cultivate peace. Just for this moment. Just for right now. This present moment is the gift we give to ourselves so that we can show up for the world with a whole heart. What is alive for you right now as we hold this unrest that we're living with? Maybe it's fear, anger, maybe it's rage at the injustice. Maybe it's the absence of safety. So just for the next few minutes, is it possible to be with whatever is arising without judging or pushing away or condemning yourself for feeling what you feel or condemning others? When we allow these feelings to arise, we don't get caught by the story or the wrongdoing. We're not fueling the flames. We look at the feelings that arise and we acknowledge the experience, the pain, the heartache, the feelings of not being in control, the sadness, the grave loss. So we just look at what arises without the story. What is it for you? If feelings of anger or rage arise, just continue to ask, what else? What else? What might be underneath that? Is there a deeper feeling? Maybe a fear of where we're at, of the reality of what we see. What's underneath that? If it's sadness that arises, or fear, just be with that. What's it like to feel that disharmony? That fragmented state of the world? What's it like? To feel. If you start to get pulled into the story, just come back to your breath. This isn't the time for the story. This is time for awareness. Feel in your body where the sensations arise. Do you feel tightness in your chest? Maybe tingling in your hands, or maybe constriction in your throat or your heart. Maybe you feel a heaviness in your shoulders. Where do you feel these emotions in your body? When we allow what is, we are giving space for all the parts of who we are for our experience. It may seem counterintuitive that as we allow, these things might grow, but in fact, it's the allowing that allows them to dissipate gently over time. It's the allowing that brings us peace. As we see all of who we are, we cultivate peace. Because we make peace with who we are. Acceptance. The more self-aware we are, the more we can meet the world with a whole heart. We develop a pause from those triggering emotions to our need to react. Now, as we hold these difficult emotions, sense that your mind is like an ocean, like you're part of the ocean. Sense the flow from beneath the waves, that the waves become like our thoughts. And they crash on the shore, but we can sink deeper down. The silence, the ease, the stillness, and the calm. As we just sink into the water, we can notice how the waves of sound, the feelings, the thoughts that arise near the surface of this ocean, yet the depths of the ocean are untroubled. Let your thoughts and emotions be like the waves coming and going on the surface. Let's let all the experiences in this meditation arise and pass, moving without resistance, disappearing without a struggle. The waves disappear back into the ocean. And as we sense or observe those waves from below, we envelop that peace, that calm, that stillness. In the last few minutes of our mindfulness practice, let's just bring that attention to our own heart and our own well-being. May I be at peace. May I be safe. May I be free from harm. May I be healthy. Just sit with those intentions for yourself. Maybe place your hand over your heart. To touch in more deeply to that sense of well-being and peace inside. And now, may we take that blanket of kind intention and can we wrap it around our entire country and honor these kind intentions to every person. May all beings be safe. May all beings be safe. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings feel at peace. May all beings Feel at peace. May all beings touch in to our sense of unity. May all beings touch in to our sense of unity. Thank you for being here today. May you be well. May you find peace. May we find that unity. I'm going to do this on Wednesdays now, so I'll see you next week. Thank you.